Welcome to Anatomy of a Discussion Board, supporting student success in discussion boards. In this presentation, we will be going through two infographics that will help you break down a prompt and begin your writing process. The first infographic is called Part 1, Breaking Down a Prompt. There are 5 components to a typical discussion board. These consist of the introduction, which provides an overview and background to the prompt. Information sources, these are readings of materials that you are to review first. Investigation, often in a discussion board you're asked to research, think about, reflect. Sometimes you're asked to go talk to people or go explore something in the world. So this is the investigation part of it, where you're actually taking action on the discussion board prompt before you write. The essential core of a discussion board are the key questions. So after you've reviewed the materials and reflected on them, now you are looking at the prompts and the key questions that you will be responding to. Sometimes there's just one key question, often there are more. And sometimes there are additional requirements such as word length, APA style, postings, etc. We will be providing a sample discussion prompt that you can look at to see how we've broken out that prompt in response to each of these 5 components. Now you're ready to write a great initial post for this discussion board. So we go to the second infographic. And have you completed the investigative activities that we talked about in the first infographic? This is where you went out and did some research, or you talked to people, or you did some kind of an activity related to that discussion board prompt. If you've done that, now you're ready to respond to those key questions that you've broken out of that prompt. There are 6 steps to these key questions, and it's cyclical. So for each key question, you want to bullet your main points. We recommend that you have no more than 1 to 3 bullets for each question, bulleting your main points. So typically you'll have a couple, 2 or 3 bullets for your main points. The important thing is not to have a lot of main points. The important thing is to back up your main points with evidence and interesting information and examples. So that brings us to step 2. For each bullet, your main point, add evidence to support your point. This is where it gets interesting and rich. And this is where you can bring out your own voice. So again, we don't want a lot of points. 1 to 3 is good typically for each of the key questions. And then bring in evidence, bring in examples, bring in why, arguments and counter arguments as to why you feel that this is your point and why you support it. Continue this process for all the key questions. So again, 1 to 3 bullets for each key question. Go deeply with your evidence, arguments, counter arguments, support what your stance. And then you want to write a paragraph addressing each of those key questions. Once you've done that, you develop a concluding paragraph or summary and tie it back to that main topic. Finally, make sure you've addressed those additional requirements such as word requirements, APA formatting or APA citations and so forth. And you're finished. You have a nice, rich initial response that you can go ahead and paste into that discussion board. One thing I didn't mention is it's a good idea to develop this in a Microsoft Word document so you don't lose your work. For more help, you can go to the Ashford Writing Center's Good Paragraph Development, Easy as Pie. And the pie process is pretty much outlined here in this steps 1 through 6. And that is it for the Anatomy of a Discussion Board. We wish you great success in your writing.